We are out in Japan riding the Yamaha MT-09. Now, this is the competitor to the Triumph Street Triple R and the Street Triple RS, and we're going to find out what's it like to ride on a racetrack. To set context first, we were riding at the Sodegaura Forest Raceway near Tokyo, Japan. This is a fast-flowing circuit with a few tight corners and blind crests thrown in the mix. And we rode all the three models of the MT-09, which is the Standard, the SP, and the new AMT variant. For now, let's just step back and soak in the view, shall we? Okay, let's talk about the design. Now, Yamaha has really changed the design elements on the 2024 model, so I think it looks a lot better than the previous MT models. It's more aggressive, more futuristic. I like the new tank. It looks big, muscular, has a lot of road presence, a lot of visual mass rather, so it looks really nice, and actually go up like front end as well. So very neatly done, Yamaha. Even the tail section is simple yet elegant, and on the whole the MT-09 is a good looking bike. What people will also appreciate is the size of the bike, and it looks substantial for a near 900cc sporty naked. Yamaha has also changed the riding position for this year. The riding position has changed. It feels a little bit more aggressive. The handlebar is slightly more lower, the foot plate is slightly reset. Whereas in the previous MTs, you start a little bit more upright. It feels more connected out here on the racetrack. And while the riding position is more forward set, it didn't feel demanding, and I don't see any issues with commuting on this motorcycle. I like the colors as well, both on the Standard and the SP models. The SP with the silver and black colors, however, is my personal favorite. All said, the quality of the paint, the switch gear, and the way everything has been put together is top-notch, as is expected of a Yamaha. Lastly, the attention to detail is very good, and bits like the nostrils on the fuel tank that filters the intake noise through are a neat touch. Even the switch gear's design with a joystick to navigate the menu is intuitive and easy to operate. I'd go as far as labeling the MT-09 switch gear to be one of the most user-friendly units I've ever experienced on a motorcycle. And now, we move to one of my favorite bits about this motorcycle. The 893cc inline triple engine that makes well over 100 horses and 93 Nm of torque. Let's talk about the engine now. Beautiful, beautiful engine. It's a cross-plane 3 engines, what Yamaha calls it, 3-cylinder engine. Sounds beautiful. I love the intake roar. This engine is really good. Great mid-range. You could slip it in third or fourth gear, pulling out of a corner. It sounds really, really nice. It feels really well, and fantastic mid-range. That's something that the Street Triple struggles with. So this is really, really good. I love the punchiness of it, and good top-end power as well. So good punchy engine will make for a good street bike out on the road, but out on the racetrack as well, it was lovely. The acceleration that the engine offers is frankly entertaining, and it perfectly goes with the Street Fighter demeanor of the bike. And then there's the wonderful soundtrack that is the cherry on top. Those nostrils in the tank give you a front of the stage sound from the intake, and then there's the scream from the underbelly exhaust that amplifies the experience. In this category of motorcycles, this cross-plane triple engine is quite the standout element, and I absolutely loved it. Helping keep everything in check are the electronics. The 6-axis IMU system with the ride modes, power modes, traction control system, and the slide control system work beautifully. In fact, the intervention of the TCS and SCS is smooth, and you'd never realize that the system has kicked in if not for the lights flashing on the dash. Speaking about the electronics, we also rode the AMT variant on the track. Now, this bike doesn't have a clutch lever or a gear lever. Instead, the AMT system has a clutch and gear actuator that is placed behind the engine. Now, the system collects data based on the throttle position, speed, lean angle, and gear position to shift up or down automatically when the system is in D mode. D+ mode moves the shift points to higher up in the rev range, as well as downshifts more aggressively. This mode is more suited for sporty riding. If you desire manual control, one can also shift to manual mode, which allows the rider to toggle up and down the gearbox using switches on the left switch cube. While one uses the index finger to upshift by pulling in a switch and the thumb to downshift by pressing a button, one can also use the index finger only to upshift or downshift. This will be particularly useful while riding in a sporty manner, say on a racetrack, that requires one to use their thumb to latch onto the handlebar. In effect, you can only use your index finger to shift up and down the gearbox.
So this motorcycle comes with a Y-AMT transmission. It is a little intuitive to use after you get used to it, but I felt that it upshifted a little too early in the middle of a corner. So on the racetrack, it isn't so great. But if you shift into manual transmission, it works a little bit better. Because you have full control. Out in the city, it'd be a great motorcycle to ride with the Y-AMT system.
The gear shifts in the AMT variant were smooth, but you do hear and feel the cog being selected. I would say that you should buy the Y-AMT if a majority of your riding is in the city. For the purists, the manual transmission equipped motorcycle will be all that they ever want. Not to mention, it will be cheaper to purchase than the Y-AMT.
Talk about the suspension. Well, not a great place to talk about suspension, but they've set it up nicely for the racetrack. They encountered a few bumps, but those it sort of ironed it out really well. So it felt connected, felt planted. So handling was fantastic. This is a beautiful chassis, great feel from the front end. Feels very forgiving. So when you're changing, or rather when you're taking different lines around a corner, it feels very, very forgiving. The brakes are good. The suspension, as I said, works very well. So as a handling package, Yamaha known for it. They're known to make motorcycles that handle very well. So whether you're a novice rider or an experienced rider, you will have a lot of fun.
While the adjustable suspension on the standard bike is good, hopping onto the SP variant with its Olin suspension enhanced the ride and handling experience to a higher level. There was slightly better compliancy and feel, which is what I like. Yamaha isn't skimping in the features department as well, and this bike has everything you'd expect from a motorcycle of its class. Whether it is the standard quick shifter, the crisp TFT with the Bluetooth connectivity and navigation, or the multiple safety aids that we've spoken about earlier, there is nothing missing. Yamaha is considering bringing this motorcycle to India, and when it does, this motorcycle will go up against established competition like the Triumph Street Triple R and the RS as we mentioned, or even the Ducati Monster and the Kawasaki Z900.
So let's sum it up. Again, great motorcycle to ride on the racetrack, very forgiving, very nice. And I think this motorcycle has a lot of potential. What Yamaha needs to do is to price the motorcycle very, very competitively. That is one big area that Yamaha needs to work on. And I'm really, really hoping that Yamaha India works towards it and gets this motorcycle at a competitive price, because this is a lot of fun.